We also have a Slack channel that we utilize. This will be really good just talking about TC and things like that to be able to connect with other people and financial services. So you can scan this QR code if you want to join our Slack channel. We also have updates and just, again, general getting to know other people in financial services. Okay, so leaders, who are we? Co-leaders of the FinServ Tug. With us today, we have myself, Zifa, as well as Oshik, who's a new joiner, a new co-lead. He's going to be helping us out lead the group, which we're really excited to have him. So we'll give him a warm welcome, as well as Constantine. And we also have Rui and Michael, who help co-lead. And they're not here with us today, but they are part of our co-leader executive board. So good group of us here running the group. If you ever have any questions or anything, please reach out to any of us. We're always available, ready to help. If you have suggestions for topics you'd like to see, also reach out and we'd love to hear it. Okay, again, the Slack workspace, we're trying to be really big on Slack. I think it's a good way to be able to communicate with other people, job board, Tableau support. Again, if you have questions or you just want to reach out to us, this is probably the best way to do so. So again, the QR code you can scan, and that'll take you to our Slack page. Okay, this is something not necessarily new, but something very important we wanted to share because it can be really, really beneficial. So the user group that we're at right now, right, the Tableau user group, you guys registered through Bevy, you RSVP'd, and that led you to this online meeting. But we also have a community forums page. And so this is a really, really great space within the forums where it's managed by Tatiana and Diego, who are both forums. They're both ambassadors, we'll say that. And so this is a really good place, number one, to get inspiration. If you're working in financial services, today the session we talk about is going to really hone in on getting inspiration without necessarily having access to real financial data. But also this could be a really good place to ask questions. People sometimes have general work things or specific things. So without like sharing your data, you can come in and say like, hey, I'm having this issue. Has anybody else faced this issue? Can you help? And I think this is a really good thing. We just want to highlight. Sometimes we'll get emails, like technical Tableau questions to our inbox. And of course, we try to monitor those and answer to the best of our ability. But if you have a question, this is probably going to be the best place to ask a technical Tableau question and also just get access to a lot of financial services dashboards and inspiration. So really great resource. If someone can actually throw this link in the chat, we'll also send out the slides after, but just so you guys can access this community forums page. Very, very great resource and definitely bookmark it. I have it bookmarked as well. It's very, very useful. Okay, Tableau conference is coming up. Super excited. I don't know the exact countdown, but I know it's less than 50 days. So it's going to be April 29th to May 1st in San Diego, a little change of pace from Las Vegas. And also some sessions will be streaming on Salesforce Plus. So super exciting. Lots of things going on. This is a expanded view of all the things that are going to be there. IronViz, Data Village, Keynote, lots of breakouts, lots of sessions, data night out. If you go to the Tableau conference site, you can see all of the session topics and the previews and get a taste of everything that's going to be there. I'm super excited. This is going to be my first TC, but every year I've heard really good things. And I think it's just a great place to network, connect with the data fam, and of course, like gain some more technical knowledge through the sessions. And yeah, it should be really fun. So for those of you who haven't registered or you're still kind of on the cusp, two things to note. We will have a FinServ meetup. So we, as leaders, we're putting together a meetup, which would be very informal, but we just want to have a space within Tableau Conference, a quick little networking session where you can meet other people in the field and talk about common issues or things you guys are doing that you think are really good. So this will be a really, really, really great opportunity to, again, just connect with people in the industry and be able to broaden out your network. So stay tuned for details. We just want to tease it out a little bit. Very, very exciting. I hope you guys are excited and it's going to be really good. So in case I haven't convinced you to go to Tableau conference, there are 1,000 more reasons why you should go, but also we as a user group have a 35% off promo. This is a really good deal, I think, right? So if you use this promo code, we'll also post in the chat as well and the Slack, you can get 35% off your registration price. And in addition to that, right, Tableau also has I believe it's like a letter, like an advocation prompt that you can submit to like your boss, your work, if you are trying to get funding and you want them to like cover part of your trip. There's a packet that'll help you kind of like convince your boss to be like, hey, this will be really useful for me to go to Tableau conference because of XYZ. So there's lots of resources. I definitely recommend it. And I just know it's going to be an amazing time. So get excited. Take this promo code if you have questions. If you're still a little unsure, definitely feel free to reach out with us. Reach out to us with any questions or any concerns. All right, the other thing to note, Data Plus Movies has been going on for a little bit, and it is a Tableau community initiative and really cool data set around IMDb movies. And the cool thing about this is it comes with a starter dashboard. So if you're new to Tableau or Tableau Public, doing community projects or just things that are a little bit fun, a little bit outside the box can be a really good way to improve your skills. But more than that, if you complete the Data Plus Movies challenge, you can fill out a form and they'll send you a t-shirt, which is really cool. So this will be going on, I think, for a little bit longer. Definitely scan the QR code for more details. And we just want to bring it to your attention that this is a initiative that's going on that's really cool and could, again, help you improve your skills. Tableau 2024.1 is out. I'm going to throw it over to Konstantin to talk a little bit about this.
Thank you, Tifa. And yeah, everyone from my side as well. Konstantin here, and want to walk you through some of the really exciting new updates that we have in Tableau 2024.1, which I think is one of the biggest updates we've seen in a while. So yeah, the most prominent, I think the biggest update here is Tableau Pulse. One of the things that we've all been waiting for a while now, and there's lots of stuff in there. I think it's actually split out into like 20 different features that are announced. If you check out Tableau's page, so there's tons of things within Tableau Pulse. Really, yeah, it helps reimagine analytics, makes it more personal, contextual, and smart, and it is also available on mobile. So yeah, if you haven't yet, check that out. Great feature, and I'm really excited to see what people do with this. Next one is that Tableau is now available in AWS Marketplace, which helps if IT leaders, if you are one, simplify billing, streamlining procurement, and get a more comprehensive view of spending. And I think also this storage on Tableau Cloud was increased a little bit. So there's tons of additional benefits coming with this collaboration here. And the third one that we do want to call out, there's a lot of other features as well, but I think this one is one that actually came from an idea in the forums. So shout out to people submitting ideas in the forums. Those ideas come to life, and I think this is one of the really great ones here, improving accessibility, which you can use keyboard navigation and other assistive technologies to navigate the marks of a text table. Right now it's just limited to text tables. In the future, I heard that there's also maybe something coming for other chart types. But for now, we have this great feature for text tables where you will hear the information for each tooltip as you hover over. And I think those are the ones that we wanted to cover. If you want to learn more about any of the features, check out the Tableau feature page. I think there's tons of other things there that we skipped for now. But let's get straight into presentations for today.
Yes, amazing. Thank you, Konstantin. I think 2024.1 is pretty exciting. Like Tableau Pulse and just generative AI, I think has been quite the buzzword, but I think Tableau Pulse is going to be really exciting just in terms of CEOs and people are like, I just want analytics at my fingertips. Like you build a dashboard so people are not going to use it. So I'm really excited to see the development and see how people start using Tableau Pulse and how that kind of evolves. Very, very cool. Definitely check it out. But without further ado, let's get to the most exciting part of today. So today we have Dr. Kevin Lee Elder with us, and he has 35 plus years. That's a lot of experience across teaching courses in IS, MIS, IT, CS, business management, administration, finance, HR, accounting, you name it. He's also been published in more than 50 papers in journals and conferences and proceedings around the world. So very, very impressive. He has a wealth of knowledge. Every time I hear him speak, I learn something new and I get inspired. So that's just like the start, and just the we're at the what's the word? We're at the cusp of everything that he does and that he's involved in. But I'll give it to you, Doc, to take it away and talk to us about how we can unlock financial expertise with real world fake data.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you. I'm giving you guys a preview of my TC outfit. So I'll be repping the Community Datos group at least one day while I'm out in San Diego. But if you want to find me most of the time, this is my TC hat that I've picked up. So you see somebody with this hat on, it'll be me at the conference. This will be my 6th conference, I believe, and it will be my 3rd or 4th time presenting, which is always fun. We'll be in San Diego, which will be a lot of fun. The forums that you guys have set up, that's awesome. I'm also a tug leader for the University Teaching and Learning group. And so I'm like, ooh, we could set up something over on forums. Checklist, need to do that. So we're always networking and we're always learning from each other, which is what I love so much. When your group was saying, hey, we're looking for somebody to come and speak, and how can you get better at this? I'm like, hey, education, that's me. Love to come talk about what I do with my students, and apply that to what you all are trying to do with the tug here. As was mentioned, I've taught just about every discipline there is. And I did create a financial information systems course in 1995. So probably most of you were very young or maybe not even born yet when I taught my first finance IS course. When it comes to the AI stuff, my doctoral dissertation that I completed in 1990 was an intelligent system for financial planning. So I have been doing stuff with AI much longer than all this Gen AI stuff. Yeah, I just love to present and meet people and help people learn. And there's so many great ways that you can learn. And I have found I've taught just about every programming language, every software imaginable. And when I found Tableau 12 or 13 years ago by now, it was Tableau 7 point something, 7.1, 7.2, much different than it was today. But it has gotten so much better. But the best thing about Tableau, every time somebody comes to me and says, hey, you should switch to a different package, I'm like, no, we're going to stay with Tableau because of the community. The community and all of the places that you can go to learn and get help, nobody has anything to compare to this community. And again, I've taught using SAP, I've taught using Microsoft stuff for forever. I'm now a Mac guy, so I'm sitting here presenting on my Mac, trying to stay off of Windows as much as I can. This community is just amazing. The fact that you can go on forums and ask a question, and one of the Tableau visionaries like Jim Daner or Ken Florage is just going to answer your question. Yeah, you're not going to find that anywhere else, that you can get that kind of help. So when I saw that y'all were looking for a speaker, I jumped right on the opportunity and said, hey, let me come in and share what I've been doing with this for quite some time now. I'm also famous for coming to Tableau user groups and never open Tableau. So because I just grab screenshots to make sure that it will work and that I can show you what I want. So I'll try and get through my slide deck and all these screenshots, and if we have time and if we have any questions, we can jump into to Tableau and take a look at some of these. But and the slides will be available, so you don't have to grab any screenshots of the slides. When we get to the end, I'll have the QR code, and you can just go grab the whole slide deck that's sitting out there. And really, what I want to do is just kind of walk you through this so that you can go do this without the slide deck. It's really not that hard. Just some main key points, some things that maybe you knew, maybe you didn't know. That's another thing that's great about the community is every time somebody gives tips, it's like, yeah, I've been doing this for 13 years and I had no idea you could do that. And so I love that. I've always been the absent-minded professor, even when I was younger. So I lose my train of thought. So if anybody has any questions that they throw in the chat, the one thing about presenting with PowerPoint, it just sucks up my whole screen. I can't see the chat or participants or anything anymore. But if you want to just interrupt me with any questions, that's fine. Or we could just do Q&A at the end. And like I say, open up Tableau and take a look at it. Would be good. I always, in all my tugs, I throw the forward-looking statement up there. If nothing else, to say, hey, I don't work for Tableau. I'm just a fan of Tableau. Don't make any bets on stocks or investments or expect anything I'm saying to be a huge game changer. So we got to throw that up there, make sure people realize I don't work for Tableau. I just love using Tableau and love teaching with it. So here's our agenda. I want to take you through just an introduction. Who am I? Why are you listening to me? What's the state of finance and accounting? I'm actually using a slide from 5 years ago, and it still remains the same today, which is kind of interesting. Some things have changed quite a bit in the last 5 years. The state of finance and accounting is not too terribly different than it was 5 years ago. How you can get better at it. My motto is always practice, practice, practice. So I'm going to show you as many ways to practice, practice, practice as you can. Then you're going to give me the reply as most groups do, but I need access to the data. And they won't give me access to the data. How am I going to get practice with the data? Well, there's data and then there's data. And I'll show you how to get your hands on some data so you can practice, practice, practice. I'm also really well known as a professor who brings in anybody into my classroom because everybody has a story to tell. Everybody has lessons and tips and ideas to teach students. And so I always bring folks in as a professor for the day. And when we started our university teaching and learning tug, one of the things we do at every meeting is bring in someone to be a professor for the day. In my classes, I get 50 minutes. So again, you wind me up, I go for about 50 minutes. You've got 50 minutes or an hour in class time that you can teach my students. Or you can come to the tug and just give a teaser of about 10, 15 minutes of a talk that you would give if you came in as a professor for the day. And with the University Teaching and Learning, we have 400 members. Most of them won't be at the meeting. They'll watch the recording and they'll see who you are. And maybe somebody will invite you in onto campus. We can learn from everyone. So again, probably a little redundant. I'm a Tableau user group leader of the University Teaching and Learning. I bring folks in to my current university, Louisiana Tech, as a professor for the day and at the Tableau user group. So didn't know how many folks we were going to get live, but I just thought for fun, what's your name? What degree do you have? And were you a good student? Now be honest. Because it's always interesting because people come from every background. That's another thing that I love about analytics and especially working with Tableau is folks come from such varied backgrounds and it's just so much fun. I was not a very good student. I was an athlete for 2.5 years. You need to have a 2.0 GPA to compete. I got that 2.0 so I could compete. Then when I couldn't compete anymore, I thought, well, I better become a good student. I got to raise that GPA. I got to get a degree and get out of here. I slept through accounting, just absolutely slept through accounting as a student. And it turned out that that wasn't a good move because I went to work at Arthur Andersen as a consultant. And my very first project as a consultant at Arthur Andersen was for a utility company. And they wanted me to do clearings and what? at the end of the period, they want me to do what and how, and where's that accounting book that I never read? I better find that thing, because we got special accounts, we got core accounts, we got clearing accounts. Oh, there it is, contra accounts. And the thing that was hilarious about this was, well, maybe not hilarious, my kind of hilarious. It was during the Iran Contra hearings. So everybody's sending me all of these newspaper clippings, because that's what we did back then. We didn't have social media. Everybody's sending me all this stuff about Contras, because I was knee deep in Contras and trying to figure out how do I code all this stuff. So Arthur Andersen is now in a museum. There's the doors that was our logo. But the group that I was with spun off into Andersen Consulting, and they are now Accenture, and so they're still viable. So when I tell people I work for Arthur Andersen, yeah, I saw all the precursors of Enron and all those kinds of things. But I've been working in this field for a very long time. So again, the state of financial and accounting. There's lots of challenges. It's a very volatile business environment, geopolitical unrest. And again, this was 5 years ago, still the same. Inflation, still there. Lots of volatility. Global supplies, we just saw, was that this morning? No, that was yesterday morning. The ship hit the bridge in Baltimore, and now we got supply issues across the eastern seaboard, because a lot of things that are waiting to get in there are sitting out in the ocean, waiting to get in. So again, this is constant. We want to have real-time relevant data for decision making, and it's coming from systems all over the place. What kind of data governance do we have? And this is going to be one of my takeaways at the end. If you want to be successful in this field, study some data governance, figure out how you get good quality data, how you secure it, how you can discover it. Because again, if you can't get to the data, then that makes it hard for you to help other people get to the data, right? So getting to that data is really, really important, and having that skilled talent set. There just isn't a lot of these folks, so it gives great opportunity to be speedy and agile, to get onto these systems and seamlessly access this data from all these different sources, get the right data to the right people, and I always add at the right time. Right data, right people, right time, and be able to, again, we're finance and accounting folks for the most part here, right? So, hey, we got to look at controlling those costs and getting that total cost of ownership down, getting that return on investment. So, again, spreading it out even larger. This is an eye chart. Just to say, there's tons of challenges with finance. And there's a huge opportunity to meet those challenges in Tableau. Whether you're talking about data validation, connecting to multiple sources, data blending and integrating the data is getting better and better in the tool every release. The potential to connect to live data. We didn't have that when I started out. It was all batch. In fact, the utility in Hawaii was flying data in on punch cards on helicopters when I got to that system. We transformed that, but yeah, it's really changed a lot. But these challenges have remained the same. And they've been this way for quite a while. So again, my mantra is always, you want to get better at this, practice, practice, practice. And you may not be able to practice exactly what you're doing on the job. Well, that's okay, because if you are practicing in the system that you're going to be using on the job, all that practice is going to help you on the job. It's very transferable. So at the TC conference this year, I'm going to give a talk about gamifying Tableau and building games in Tableau. And we're going to have fun in my session. So come find me. If you practice and you build those games in Tableau, it's amazing the skills that transfer back over to the day job. If you go to Tableau's website, I was actually sitting on the academic teaching page. I should have been on just tableau.com, but you get the same menu. Go over to resources, come down to the fabulous community, come down to community projects. and it will open up and it'll say, man, there's a lot of community projects that you can get involved in. You get involved in these, you spend some time, you're going to learn. So Makeover Monday has been around, I think, the longest out of all these community projects, where they take a data set, they show you a chart that we could all probably improve upon that chart. They want you to take just an hour and see how you can make over that chart from the original. So it's really fun. Lots of data sets. It goes back 4 or 5 years now worth of data sets. So you can always find a data set that will interest you. And that's what I tell my students and my coworkers and my colleagues, that practice is going to make you better. And if you're using boring data, which to most of the world would be accounting and finance, go find some other data and have some fun with that. So Workout Wednesday is a good way to work on your skills. I do a lot with Viz for Social Good, where we get charities and they give us their data, and they don't have folks to analyze and run analytics on it, and we help them out. And we run 4 or 5 projects a year, so you can always get into that. If you love sports, like a lot of my students do, Sports Viz Sunday puts sports data sets out there. Sarah Bartlett runs Iron Quest to give people practice if they want to enter the Iron Viz competition each year. Project Health Viz, if you're interested in health things. Back to Viz Basic is a really good group, and they'll be having a session at TC24 as well. Game Night Viz, datafam.com with the folks running that, Nicole and I'm blanking on the other. Who else is running datafam.com? My apologies, Christina Gorga. There we go. The Dubois Challenge I've done a lot with, recreating these 1900 charts showing the state of Black America in 1900. Viz for Vets is a great group. I've presented to them. And so they're great places to hone your craft and really get better at using Tableau. But what if you want that finance practice? What if you want to get in and play with that finance data? And so I hear this more than any other place. If you want to do marketing or supply chain or any other area within a company, you can usually get some of that data to use. But man, the accountants and the finance people, no, you can't touch our data, no, unless you're actually using it on the job. So where can I go? Well, here's my little hero. I got to give credit to Brian Moore. A few years ago, we were talking about superheroes, and Brian created Dash, who can create a dashboard for you in a Dash. He didn't do anything with it, so I've grabbed him and I'm using Dash all the time now as my superhero. And so Tableau Public is where you want to go. Tableau Public is a great place for you to go get inspiration, find data, find data sets, find cool things that people are doing. Tableau Public is really wonderful, and I've been with Tableau Public from the beginning. It is a free version of Tableau. So in the beginning, it didn't do a lot because it was free. And it has gotten better and better and better to where you can do most of what you can in desktop, you can do in Tableau Public. For any of you that didn't like the fact that Iron Viz ran through Tableau Public, you can blame me, because I said, hey, let's make it go through Tableau Public. Let's kind of level the playing field here. You've got to get your Viz working in Tableau Public, and that's where we judge them. So I pulled up all the Vizes that I judged in Tableau Public and viewed them through Tableau Public, which kind of leveled the playing field, so to speak. So Tableau Public is marvelous. It is just super. So go again to the Tableau website, go to the products, go to Tableau Public, click on that. It'll take you to the Tableau Public page for free. You can set up a profile for free. You can download Tableau Public and actually run it on your PC. Or you can use Tableau Desktop and post from the desktop up to Tableau Public. And I teach my students how to do that. We're in the second week of class, and we're going to be doing this tomorrow in class. So this is good timing. So if you just search finance, look what pops up. Wow, look at this. Here's some finance dashboards. Here's one for personal finance if you're interested in that, corporate finance. And these are sorted by the most relevant. And so I could say, well, sort them by the view count. Okay, so this venture financing from core product marketing has gotten over 1 million hits. I bet that's a pretty cool dashboard. I'm not going to look at that one tonight, but I bet it's pretty good. But you can see that while they have posted it out here, well, someone else has posted the identical one out there. And Andy Kryball really doesn't like this because Andy has vizzes that have been viewed 1 million times. And he doesn't mind if you take them and download them and reverse engineer and learn from the stuff he posts, but he gets a little irritated when you post them and make it look like you created those. So I teach my students right away the ethics of Tableau and Tableau Public is folks allow you to download their workbooks often, more often than not. If you download it and then you upload it and you didn't change anything, that's just like plagiarism in a written paper. And that gets you in a lot of trouble when you plagiarize, folks. Same thing with Tableau Public. So download it, change it around, pull the data set out, put your data set in, change the look of it at least. And you can put at the bottom, you were inspired by this person or this viz that you found on Tableau Public. And people love that, to see that they've inspired somebody, that they took their viz and improved on it or tried something different with it. And so it's just a really, really great place to go to. So I searched on finance. I looked through some of the top vizzes that were out there. And I said, okay, who are some of the top authors out there? And so we've got somebody from Australia that's got 6,000 followers. We got Tableau for Finance that only has 1,800 followers. I'm hoping after everybody watches this recording, we'll get a lot more people following Tableau for Finance because they're awesome. Aria has some really good stuff out there. Gary Collins has some good things out there. Mike Crook has some good things out there. And so it's just really easy for you. So here's Aria, and I pulled up her public page, and here's some of the stuff that she has. So she's got some cash flow optimization. She's got financial performance and strategy. She's got KPI scoreboard. She's got some Google Analytics down there for the marketing folks, retail analytics down there. She's got a P&L scoreboard. These are folks that this is their passion. They love to do this. And so I've gone back now to the most relevant ones, and I clicked on, can they be downloaded and copied? Because I like to get inspired by looking at them. But more important for me, I really learn if I can download them and pop the hood up and take a look and see what they did. And so that's what I encourage folks to do, is go find topics you want to look for, and then click on the can I download and make a copy of it button, and it will filter just to those that you can. And then you will start seeing some really good ones that you can pull down. So right away, when you start looking for finance, you're going to see User Ready is really good, and we'll take a look at some of theirs. Jeffrey Schaefer is a really good Tableau Hall of Famer. Just chatted with Jeffrey last week because he made a chessboard game in Tableau. So I sat down and talked to Jeff last week. And so as you start getting involved in the community, as you go to conferences, as you use Tableau Public, you start getting a feel for, okay, these are folks that know what they're doing. This is interesting. This is something that I can learn from. So for example, this one here is a funding and financing tool. And this person has allowed you to download the Tableau workbook, and you're thinking, well, wait a minute, what about the data? They said, I can't get the data. Well, often that will mean that there is a packaged workbook, and they've extracted the data, and the data is inside of the workbook, which is really nice because then you don't have to go searching for that data. You don't have to link it. You don't have to go through those processes. But again, that's all learning. That's all good. But early on, it's usually better if you can get an exported workbook where you can just have the data already encapsulated in there. When you download it, it'll be there. It won't get lost. It won't be looking for it. And you can really start seeing, okay, how did they do these radio buttons to filter? And how did they do these slider things? And wow, look at this deadline over here. Lots of just tremendously cool and innovative things that they're doing. So here's user ready. Again, they've got a lot of dashboards out there, a lot of good material available. So here's just a giant dashboard with lots of things on it. Again, I kind of teach people this is probably about the limits of a dashboard, and it's probably a little too busy for me. But some folks like this much. But I use psychology here, and I say, well, the psychologist will tell us we can keep about 7 things in short-term memory. Now, is this dashboard conveying 7 things or more than 7 things? Then we probably have too much on here. But if lots of people are using it, maybe we just combine them together. But I would probably break this into several dashboards myself. But for learning purposes, wow, we got a line chart, we got a bar chart. We've got some really interesting things. We've got some KPIs across the top. We've got some filtering across the top. This is a really good example with some data for us to play with. So again, with this uh, dashboard, uh, I can download it into desktop, and then I can go and look at the data, or even on Tableau Public, I could say, let me download the data if they have separate data. And so that's what I've done here is I've said, hey, download the data for this dashboard. And then I clicked on the full data and I found, wow, they got 200 rows and they got 11 fields here. And so they're looking at um, uh, various data, the actual and the budget. But I'm seeing a lot of nulls in here. So maybe this data set is not going to work for me because I want to have a lot of data in there. And if this one has a lot of nulls in there, then maybe it's not going to be as good of an example as I thought. But again, you can see all of this in Tableau Public within a few clicks very quickly. And then you can go back and say, okay, let me take a look at a different one. And so uh, Tableau Public is really, really nice for this. So here's their fraud transaction analysis dashboard. And again, probably pushing the limits here. They've got 5 charts on here. They've got a nice map. And the thing is that my students will learn that it doesn't take too much to take a data set and show it lots of different ways. And the more ways that you play with it and try and visualize the data, the better you will get with Tableau. And so if you the key, as my talk is kind of centered around, get a good data set. You get a good data set, we can do a lot with it. We can learn a lot with it. And it is endless possibilities of what you can do. So here's their accounts receivable analysis dashboard. If you're interested in that, and so they've got a lot of companies. They've got what they owe, what is in 1 to 30 days, 31 to 60 days, 61 to 90, and so on. So this would be a good dashboard to take a look at and see how do you play with dates? How do you do calculations on dates? How do you throw things into buckets by dates? Which is transferable to all kinds of other applications. So even if you're not, again, in your day job doing accounts receivable, but you need to do stuff with dates, this is a nice dashboard, a nice data set. You can play with it. You can play with the dates, try things out. And again, don't be afraid. I mean, even if you totally mess up this dashboard, you can go to Tableau Public and download it again if you didn't back it up. So it's really, really fun to do these things, and Tableau Public just has them like crazy. And so sometimes when you're out on Tableau Public, it will show you all of the tabs and all of the charts and everything, and you can take a look at it. But often they're all hidden and all you can see is the dashboard. But when you download it to Tableau Desktop, you can go up there and say unhide, and there will be all the sheets and how they created each of these charts that they put on the dashboard. You can drill into the one that most interests you. How in the world did they do current year versus last year? How did they do those calculations? What did they do? And you can learn how to do that in your dashboards and in your analytics in the day job. So here is that one that folks had posted quite a few times, and it's gotten tons of hits. So either this is a really good dashboard, and it's really good, and folks are learning a lot from it, or it just looks good, and so everybody's grabbing it and throwing it up on their portfolio. But underneath, maybe it's not that good. But again, it's all learning. Even the worst dashboard out there, if nothing else, I tell my students you can learn by, whoa, I would never do that. Why do they do this? Kevin Ferlage and Ken Ferlage are famous twins in the Tableau community. And they do Sankeys. If you go to the FerlageTwins.com website, they've got, I think, more than 50 different ways to do Sankeys. And Kevin always joked, but I've only used about 2 of them on the job. But they're really cool. Here's one that Jeff Schaefer did, which I think has a lot of possibilities in the area of finance and accounting. He's doing a Sankey to show where are these funds flowing in the organization. And so I thought, well, Sankeys look cool. This might actually be a real good use case for it. So I downloaded it and I took a look, and I'm like, okay, they're looking at sales and lead generation, account management, accounts receivable, accounts payable, tax, the treasury. This is some pretty cool stuff. And even better, some cool data underneath that I can take and repurpose and do something else with it. And on Jeff's site, Jeff was an adjunct professor while he was doing this in his day job. And now Jeff has flipped around, and Jeff is now a full-time professor, and he does the consulting as his evening job, if you will, now. So in his workbook, he points you to the Tableau site where they talk about Sankey diagrams, and you can get more information on them off of the Tableau site. So again, as you start playing and you start looking at these things, you start running across these folks and you go, wow, this guy presents at a lot of tugs. He's got a lot of cool stuff he's doing. Again, I'm doing a gamification session at TC. He's got a cool chess game on there. He's also got his big book of dashboards. And so you can click on his big book of dashboards, and it's downloadable. The data is downloadable. The workbook is downloadable. And you can get a good introduction to how to do bar charts, stack bar charts, line charts, area charts, lollipop charts, lots of charts in here. Big book of dashboard is an awesome. And again, I don't get any kickbacks from this. I just find that it's a really good book. It has lots of good dashboards in there and examples. And through their website, you can download their data sets and their dashboards and learn how to do these things. And they're doing an update. And I told Jeff last week when I talked to him, I'm too late. I was going to say, let me be your 4th author and do the 2nd version of this. But Amanda beat me to it. And they are actively working on the 2nd edition of Big Book of Dashboards. And then Jeff also has a links tab on his workbook here, and it will point you to lots of other places where you can get tips and examples and data sets, and just this is the best of Tableau Public when you can run across folks that are doing things like this, but in my opinion, that are helping people really learn. So let's go back to all these community projects, and I was putting them all out here. Well, I skipped a row when I pulled all these off. And so sorry, prep and data and diversity in data. Those are great community projects as well, but I've held it off so that I could talk about towards the end here, real world fake data. because yeah, I can get some data off of Tableau Public, and I can probably get it specific to what I want. But real world fake data is a really fun community project. It was started by Mark Bradburn. Mark Bradburn used to be the biggest fan of Tableau. I think he worked at a bank, I believe, in Cleveland. And when Tableau conference would end, the next day, Mark would register for the next Tableau conference. He would be the first one registered. Mark is a great guy, and eventually Tableau got smart and hired him. So he now works with Tableau. I keep missing the Baldies with data photos every year. So there's a bunch of the Baldies. There's Kevin and Ken. Well, there's me and Mark. So sort of got in there, but I always seem to miss it. So if you go to the community page off of Tableau.com and click on real world fake data, they will take you to Tableau Public and search for the hashtag real world fake data. And you will find lots of folks that you will get to know over the years have posted real world fake data dashboards using the real world fake data sets. So I'm going to clue you in a little bit better than Tableau's homepage is doing off of their community website. You want to go to Data.World. Data.World is where you want to go to. Get yourself a free account on Data.World. So sign up for it. You can sign in using your Google email. Sign up at Data.World and get an account, because Data.World, just as the name is cluing you in, is tons of data. Folks have posted all kinds of data out there. We use this extensively with the charity work that we do through Viz for Social Good. I use it with my students. They are a really neat organization, and it's really a great setup that they have at Data.World. So at Data.World site, we can find Mark Bradburn out there, and we can find his real world fake data site and his workspace. And here he has real world fake data. So as the name says, this is real world data, but it's fake. Because if we're looking at help desk calls, we don't want to show people's actual names and their actual phone numbers. And so it's pretty easy to go through and anonymize that and make it so that it's fake. It's not the real data, but it has the same structure, it has the same format, it has a lot of the same numbers. And it's really hard to just go in and say, I'm going to make up a fake balance sheet, or I'm going to make up a fake income statement, or whatever it might be. But if somebody's already done that for you, done some of that legwork, it's really good to do. So here is he's done 2 seasons, and now they're in their 3rd season of doing this. So you can find all of these just CSV files that you can bring into Tableau desktop or Tableau Public pretty easily, and start working with them and seeing what they have. So there'll be a project summary, and it will talk about, and it will give you a schedule. Here are the different data sets that are going to be available. Click on a data set like I've done here with the financial consumer complaints data set, and it will go through and show you here's what all those fields are. So we've got a complaint, then we've got a product, the data was submitted, then company information and who submitted it, and really some really good interesting data. So here is the retail transactions data set with the transaction date and time and location. It's got maybe you've got a rewards number there. Are you a rewards member? What's the number of items? Did you have a coupon? Did you get a discount? And what's that total amount? So if you're wanting some transaction data to get practice on, to sum those up into a income statement or a statement of retained earnings or whatever it might be, we can repurpose this real world fake data really pretty easily. And so again, that's Data.World, real world fake data. and it's a really good place to practice and get these data sets. So here I've gone back now to Tableau Public. I'm finding some of the other good folks that are out there. So PH Data bought out a company called Tessellation that was started by one of our former Tableau Zen masters. And so here's a actual versus budget dashboard that you can download and get the data and play with it, and you don't have to make up your own data. So here I have said, let's search on financial services, title of the tug, and let's see what's out there. And so I see some interesting ones out here sorted by the relevant. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, I need to mention this to the folks in the tug as well. Tableau accelerators? What is Tableau accelerators? Tableau accelerators is where Tableau has made available to folks some starter dashboards to really accelerate your development in different areas. And so, wow, take a look at here. We've got some Tableau accelerators for corporate finance and for sales pipeline and Likert scales. And wow, this is amazing. So here's the corporate finance workbook, looking at accounts payable and doing a simple bar chart. And so you could take this and say, hey, I want to see what this looks like with a different kind of chart and try a different kind of chart, or take the data out and try something else. So this is really cool. Exchange.tableau.com is the Tableau Exchange. And you can go out there and you can find lots of these accelerators in all kinds of different areas. And they are really well done. I might quibble on some of the color choices, being colorblind, and that was my talk at TC last year. But they've got some really nice accelerators if you want to get into the supply chain and shipment of stuff, HR expenses, business travel, sales and margins. They just have a lot of them out there. They have dashboard extensions for when you get more advanced with your Tableau work. Like these are ones to do animations, the bar chart races, and all that fun kind of stuff. There's executive KPI scoreboard. This is an interesting one. This has been posted by BizStory. BizStory is another one that you will find out on Tableau Public and find lots of things that they've created. And notice down below it says this was done by Tableau visionary Sam Parsons using real world fake data with the permission of Mark Bradbourne to do that. Do you see how the world of Tableau suddenly gets pretty small? You think, wow, it's huge and I don't know anybody and I don't know where to go. And you just start looking and you start poking and you start going through. And here is Sam Parsons, who was an Iron Viz finalist. And this was an awesome viz that Sam created. Sam made one of the best Viz for social good vizzes that we've ever had when he took part in one of our projects. And just some really good stuff. So again, I can go to accelerators, I can go to corporate finance, or here I'm going to financial services and seeing what kind of accelerators they have. These are sample dashboards. They have sample data. Here you can see the information lab. These are awesome folks. I took a sabbatical from being a professor during the pandemic when everybody was frustrated. Went to work at JLL, big real estate company. Had a team teaching data literacy that I converted to teaching data fluency. One of the first things I did was hire the information lab to come in and teach folks how to handle servers, because everybody has desktop experience. People don't have much server experience. Information lab has tons of that. They're really good people to work with. Lovelytics is a great organization, and one of the people at Lovalytics does the Back to Viz Basic folks. Chantilly is there now, and she's one of our visionaries and one of our folks that speaks out quite a bit about diversity and the need for diversity. But here again, take a look. Here's the data set. We've got some portfolio data, the value, expense ratio, dividend yield, 3-year growth, 5-year growth, standard deviation. It would be really hard to generate this data on your own. And here you've got a data set to play with. And we could repurpose it. It doesn't have to be a portfolio. It could be something else that we're trying to measure growth on. Change the title of the column, change what it is in the workbook, and you've got an ability to practice your craft on some real world fake data. This is good stuff that is out there. So again, here's an example of a Tableau accelerator, and you're just seeing the overview of it, but it's going to get into aging and payment schedules and creditor deep dives, and you can really hone your craft, learn the business, see how the data is, maybe even find some weaknesses in that data, and say, hey, we need to be collecting this data so we can do these types of things. So again, let me circle around. There's a great challenge that comes with accounting and finance, but it's a great opportunity. And Tableau is really well placed for many areas. And one of those for sure is finance and financial services. And so my recommendations: create your Tableau public profile. Start by following the best, the folks that are the most relevant, the folks that have the best followers, the folks that you keep seeing popping up all the time, the Jeff Schaefers, the Sam Parsons, the user readies. Start favoriting those best ones. They will turn around, and if you start following them, they'll say, hey, who are you? They'll follow you. And this whole world of Tableau starts getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Search for ones that you can download. Click that download button and it will show you just the ones you can download. Find those downloadable dashboards that have some good data. Download that dashboard, download that data, and you can reuse and repurpose that data. Because you know what? We all are still using Excel, and we're going in there in Excel and practicing and playing with that data and trying to set it up so we can recreate what that data looks like in our day jobs so that we can figure out how to make things work in the real world by playing with our fake data. Again, I mentioned before, learn about data governance and where the data is and how it needs to be controlled. Try some new charts and learn new ways. That's the whole idea, is that picture is worth 1,000 words. And we've been looking at these same pictures. Shake it up. Try a different chart. Try a different example, and practice, practice, practice. Create a great portfolio. Show them, here's that first dashboard I did, and here's my 10th, here's my 20th, here's my 30th. Look for that growth. When you're ready, come be a professor and tell us about your path and what you've learned and what you've tried, and why you are a fan of Tableau, just like so many of us. And again, play some games, have some fun. The more you love what you're doing, the more you will spend time, the more you'll have fun with it, and the more you will be like Dash. You will be able to create dashboards in no time at all. And again, I know a lot of people are intimidated by the idea of being a professor for the day. Everyone can be a professor of the day. You don't have to be 35 years of doing this. You can be 35 days of doing this. And here's what I've learned in my first 35 days of doing this. My students who are starting it tomorrow would love to hear from you. So please, throw your name, throw the email in there. Any questions, suggestions, feedback, I love to hear them. There's your QR code. Point your camera here, and it will point you to the slide deck so you can go back through the slides at your leisure. I thank you for your time. Again, there's the QR code for the slide deck. There's my contact info, my email at Louisiana Tech. I'm on Twitter. Love to be on Twitter. I'm on LinkedIn. And I also work as a industry analyst for DresnerAdvisory.com. So if you work for a vendor, or you are a user who's working with these packages, you might want to look into us, become a data leader in our data leader program, and see the latest research and things that are out there.
That was so good. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Doc. Like I said, every time I listen to you speak, I always learn something new. And I think kind of just seeing the journey from, I don't think I've ever just searched finance on Tableau Public and seeing like there are a few kind of creators there, but there's so much opportunity. And then when you think about real world fake data, it's like, I don't have access to JP Morgan's data, but this is real data that in an interview I can talk about and say like, hey, I've analyzed this and this is what I did. This is how I worked on it. So I just think that was so powerful. And even whether you're in the financial industry, you need some more practice, or you're trying to pivot, I think everything you shared is so, so useful. So with that being said, any questions anyone has, please don't feel shy. You can throw it in the chat, come off mute, or anything you want to know more about, also feel free to ask.
Yeah, one thing that I forgot about, that I was going to mention in the accelerators and the extensions. One of the things they'll do from time to time, you'll see in their notes, oh, we also do mobile. And so they'll take your dashboard and here's the automatic generated. Here's what it looks like on the phone. So you can go, oh man, that's not usable. Let me rework this and figure out how this will work on the phone, because so many folks are trying to do it on the phone now. So having that ability to, here's what it looks like on the phone, you might want to rethink this. That's so useful to have that ability. And again, they've been saying we're all going to go to the mobile phone for quite a while. Amara's law with new technology, we always overestimate what's going to happen in the next 2 or 3 years, but we underestimate what's going to happen in the long run. So that's what I've been saying about Gen AI. We're overestimating all the great things it's going to do tomorrow, but in the long run, we're going to be doing a lot with it.
Yes, they're well said. And I think it was also just so fascinating to hear like Enron, Arthur Andersen, like or at least I learned about that in the history books. And it's like you've kind of seen the evolution, seen it through the same cycle. So very, very cool to kind of see.
If anybody has an ethics organization or someone interested in that, I can give you a nice long talk about Arthur Andersen and ethics and Enron and why they split off the LLC. I was knee deep in it.
Oh my gosh, fascinating. So cool. I say what a time to be alive. Maybe not during the moment, but after. That's like such a cool story to kind of talk through. But
yeah, and it's fun because I was just meeting with a vendor yesterday, and we were talking about how long we've been in it. And I said, well, 38 years ago, I was an Arthur Andersen consultant. And the CEO of this company was an ex Arthur Andersen consultant.
No way. Oh my gosh.
It's always amazing to me what a small world it turns out to be. We think, oh, we're never going to run into folks, but you will run into folks over and over. The longer you stay in there and do these things, it's just lots of fun.
Yes. Amazing. Okay, I'll give it another minute or two for last questions. Constantine, Oshik, I don't know if you guys had any questions, but I think a lot of people are going to find use in the recording, and hopefully some people will try out real world fake data. If you do, be sure to tag financial services. Okay, we have a question. Have you ever come across dashboards being used to show the results of financial audits? Ooh, that's a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question. Financial audits are probably one of the hardest data sets. People don't want, that's tough to see. So I don't think I've seen many, but I bet there's probably some out on Tableau Public. I didn't actually search for that. I know that there's stuff for fraud. So you can find a lot of things for fraud, which is a lot of times what you're looking for in those financial audits. So yeah, that's a great question. I'll have to think about that, and post something. Oh, let me go ahead and share my screen. Can I share my screen again?
Yes.
If you go to my Tableau Public profile, find me out, Dr. Elder, and click on my favorites. I've made it easy for you all for the moment. All my top favorites are a lot of the chart, um, getting better with your chart skills, because that's for my students right now who are getting started. But then you'll find all of these top finance dashboards that are out there, ones that I was showing and demoing, and so it makes it even easier for you to find them. Click on like the fraud analysis one that I was thinking of. Click on it, see what's there. Click on the user. It will bring up all of theirs. And so that would be a way to see if there are some good data out there. So never try this in public, but let's see what happens if we try financial audits. Why not? Yeah, there's some out here. Maybe not quite what you're looking for. But this is not bad. That's not a bad start. I didn't do my, is it downloadable? But it is downloadable and the data is encapsulated. So we can download, we can specify the version. So I'm running 23.3. So I'll download 23.3 because I'm not quite sure what 24.1 is going to do to me. And then I can click it, and you're probably not seeing Tableau, are you? Stop sharing. Do I stop sharing? Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes it's like your desktop, you need to share the whole. Oh. Tech. Oh man. But we do have another comment, not a question, but thanks for everything you shared and great Communidado swag. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to Ruri to see if he can get some more Communidado swag. It does look pretty fresh, so definitely a good comment there. Oh, maybe he'll rejoin again. Maybe give it a minute. But this recording will be posted on the Bevy page, and the link to the slides will as well. And yeah, if there aren't any more questions, give it a minute to see if he's going to join back. But you gotta love Bevy. This is very on brand. Oh, okay. So no worries at all. Thank you so much, Doc. Like we said, we'll share all the contents and hopefully see you all at TC24. Okay, have a great night, everyone.